You guys mute your mics if you're not asking a question, please. And if you don't want to talk, but you want to ask a question, you can type it in the general chat. I'll try to make sure I check that every few minutes. All right, so everybody can see the screen. Right, you know what? Let me ditch the music. Let me ditch the music. And I am going to show you guys how to properly trade and use Vision. And show you why Vision's calling signals where it's calling them. You gotta. I kind of went over this last night with some people. It was late night, so if you didn't join in on that, it's okay. But I kind of went over this, what I'm going over today, last night with everybody. And we will go and delete.
Did you that one?
What's up?
Was that one also recorded?
No, that one I didn't record. I was just kind of just hanging out, chatting, you know, nothing super special or anything, but I am recording this one. This one's definitely going to go in way more depth than yesterday. Let's see. I'm just going to see who is in here. Yeah, okay. Okay, well, if you guys don't know, I basically only trade Tesla. But we'll start. We'll just somebody give me a ticker in the chat. Not no junk. Good ticker, good company. Got some good movement every day. Nvidia, nice. Sold. Okay. Go to the ticker. You guys, oh look, I already got some lines on there. Don't worry, I'll delete them. Starting fresh. This is what everybody should be doing the night before you go to trade the next day. Must do it. This is kind of like your homework. This is what you need to do. A lot of people don't. Most people don't. And that's why most people lose when they trade. And that a lot of people jump in and get Vision and they think that they're going to be a millionaire by next week. And that's not the case. What's up?
Is anyone else available to restream? We're already at max viewers.
Is anybody on their desktop that knows how to use Discord pretty good? Probably not, Cash. Probably not.
I can try it out if you want.
Cash, can you explain them how to restream it?
Basically, when you go to share your screen, the easiest way to do it is you should have a button at the bottom right of the stream itself that says pop out. You're going to want to do that first, and then you'll go and click restream.
So I got the pop out. Where's the restream at?
It'll be on the bottom left of the main Discord page, where it shows like your microphone and everything.
Yeah, it's saying I can't stream into this channel.
Oh, we might have that turned off, Dylan.
Yeah, probably so.
Oh, darn.
Does it say anybody's watching your deal, Cash?
Yeah, we're at 50.
Okay. Son of a bitch.
We're at max.
I don't see that option either.
Let me see if I can change the permissions while I'm on here.
Rowdy Killer said he forgot to update the back.
Okay, Candy Cane, for temporary time being, you are a super moderator. Try it now. You know what, we need to probably see if Melody can do it too. Melody, you've been promoted. Alright, Candy Cane, Alex, good. So if anybody's on Cash's stream, jump over to Candy Cane's.
Well, anybody that's not on the stream in general, y'all
True.
can jump on now.
True story. Plenty of them up there now.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to continue then, because we should be good now. Okay, I'm on the monthly chart. If you guys didn't see that, somebody called out, look in the video. Cool story. We'll go to the monthly chart. Now, you see where price is. I'm going to pop a bunch of lines. Since NVIDIA is kind of just straight up, stocks only go up. And I'll show you some that actually has better movement and stuff, and it'll make a little more sense. But since we're on the video, I'll show you guys here. I'm going to drop a bunch of lines here, kind of on both sides of the price line. Kind of giving me support and resistance areas from the monthly chart to where it could be moving here, you know, next week, this week. It'll make sense. Stand by. So it's going to get pretty busy. And if you ever see any of my charts, my red lines are always the monthly lines. I'll label them real quick. And yellow lines for me are my weekly lines, and then blue would be daily. But so I am dropping lines at the highs, the opens, the lows, and the closes on almost every one of these. Did that one snap? And if you don't get it here on the video, don't worry. I will show you guys a better chart here in a few minutes. One thing to pay attention to, this area right here, you kind of have these two that are kind of getting resisted at the same point. That's really what you're trying to find. On most monthly charts, like you said, NVIDIA is straight up, so it's kind of a bad example, but you'll see it'll work the same. This is what you're trying to find. For 2 months straight, this thing got resisted right here at, we'll call it 225. So got the round number, makes sense. 2 straight months, it couldn't really get above that very long. So that's a very good key resistance that we want to have charted. But since we're kind of trading up in here, we're going to kind of pay attention up in here. So now that I got some kind of main key areas here from the monthly, we're going to drop down to the weekly. We're going to see if anything else stands out to us. I'm going to grab these 2 lows right here for 2 weeks straight. This held support very good. grab this point right here because you can see both those areas here over to the left and here over to the right and here kind of in the middle both kind of played with that area as resistance.
Sorry, Brian.
I'm going to grab this spot right here. As you can see with my...
Bro, I will kick you out of here. Do you understand that?
So you see right here at this upper yellow line about 323.50. We've got some resistance here, some resistance here, and some resistance here, so we definitely want that one. And then since this is close to price, I'm going to put a couple more lines here at where this body closed on this weekly candle. Everything else we already have from the monthly. So, and I'm going to leave it right there just to kind of make this simple. It does get pretty busy when I start adding in all the daily lines. So now I'm going to go down to a time frame that I would normally trade, which would be 5 minute. Say what? And you can also go to 15 minute as well. I would if you're day trading, that's the two time frames I would recommend is 15 and 5. And so now we're going to turn on vision and see what it says. Let's see what setting we're on here. I'm not sure which setting the video likes. We're on scalper 1. That's usually where I like to hang out. So we'll kind of just go through here now that we have these lines on the chart and see if you can. Don't pay attention to pre-market and after hours. There's not very much movement in there, so you can't trade options in there anyway. So we have this first bear signal, and another thing that I have on every one of my charts is the VWAP. I'll go over that here probably towards the end. Bear signal straight through this weekly support here. It tried to get above it one time in the morning volatility, but then couldn't hang it, so it shot back through it. So if you had puts here, you would look to like target that next level that you have on your chart, which would be this monthly level at around 272.50. And you see it gets supported here, pops up, it gets back above that weekly level, and this candle closes above it. So that's a good sign that it's going to be supported by that now. And then we get a bull signal after it gets supported. So this is the kind of stuff you want to look for here. And we'll go down and break it down in like 5 minute. This is a different day, isn't it? Yeah, this is the day we were just talking about here. So vision calls this bull signal up here above this weekly line. And I've seen a lot of people say that vision is late sometimes, but the real factor is you just aren't seeing the correct things on your chart. Vision's waiting till a lot of buyers kind of come in and everything gets confirmed. So yeah, it could have got in down here. You could have got in down here as it bounced off of this, but a lot of times, especially right off the market open, it's not going to just reverse on the first kind of pullback. It's going to hit, pop up a little bit, and then fall through that. But here the bull signal pops above this weekly support here after it kind of got resisted a little bit. Gets supported. And so that was a pretty good little move right there. If you're in some calls, about a $5.37 move. Johnny said, how far do you go back? It's just as far, like I said earlier, I like to stay around where price is because it's on Tesla, it can move $100 pretty easy. So, I'll go like $100 each way the price line, depending on what kind of data is on the chart. Obviously, it's close to the high. I can only go as far as the market high, but let me go to find a different chart that's it's better to explain, because in the video, like I said, just kind of straight up, so it doesn't really give us much. Let's look at Netflix real quick.
Yeah, let's try Netflix. I know I asked about it yesterday.
Yeah, so this is perfect right here. It's got some definitely good little zones in it. So there's obviously a bunch right there. And let me change the color of that because we're on the monthly chart again. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them in the chat while I'm doing this. Stocks only go up. Yeah, I like that area right there. Okay, now I'm gonna go back to the weekly chart after I kind of get all the main areas on the monthly, and then you're just looking to see if anything stands out to you where there's a lot of these candles that are either starting or ending or making a high or making a low, all kind of in the same spot. So if I draw a box through here, you can kind of see that there's a lot that are kind of hanging out in this area. So that's definitely somewhere that I want to pay attention to. Right in there, and that was a weekly line, so I'm going to change that to yellow. You can color code yours however you want, by the way. Okay, let me go back to the monthly real quick. Okay, so now it's going to get a little busy, but it'll make sense here in a minute. So since price is right here, I'm going to grab a lot of these opens, a lot of these closes, and a lot of these highs and lows. But just stand by with me. All right. Typically I go to the daily, but usually by the time you get done with the monthly and the weekly, you're pretty set on the daily. Might be a couple in here that I want to grab.
I think I'm having some trouble today.
What's going on?
It's just like I'm loading, but it's not showing me what's active.
Yeah, you're cutting out a little bit.
Yeah, even like you got. Yeah, I guess I'll log into this class.
It might be your connection.
I'm doing it through my phone.
I know it looks like a lot. Don't worry. It'll make sense.
Okay, bye.
Okay, now I'm going to go back to the 5 minute. Let's see which setting Vision likes here. Bum, bum, bum. I'll probably stick with Scalper 1 since everybody has that. Okay, I'll turn on VWAP now. We can kind of see what's going on. Obviously, this is a red day for Netflix. It started out open, started heading down, quickly came back and got above VWAP here, but they were wanting to sell it. So when this bear signal popped up, everybody can see this white line on my chart. Is it too small? Let's see if I make it a little bigger. There we go. Okay, so VWAP is volume weighted average price. For anybody that doesn't know, for me, I kind of see it as a kind of moving support and resistance. So you see this bear signal come through it. If it kind of closes below this here, after we get this bear signal, you know, the bear signal's kind of doing two things here that we need to pay attention to, and that would be, damn magnet tool, that it's starting to shoot through the VWAP here, but it's also heading towards this red line, which again is my monthly lines from the monthly chart. So it's a pretty strong line. So we can kind of guess that if it gets below that strong, what should be a strong line, a strong support for it, that we're probably heading south. So we're going through VWAP, which is a very strong support and resistance. I don't really know a good day trader that doesn't use VWAP. So I would recommend everybody to start using it, start learning it, and I'll show you more as we go on. But and you see that next 5 minute candle that popped up opened below the VWAP. You know, you need to note where that first red candle.
Sorry, doesn't echo. Can people turn off the mics?
Yeah, do you know who's echoing?
I don't hear an echo.
Echo. I don't hear an echo on my end, but all right, let's see. So we get a bear signal on this red candle. This is why it's important to know where the open and close is on every candle. So on a red candle, the close is at the bottom, the open is at the top. The green is the opposite. Okay, so we know that this red candle just closed below VWAP. You need to pay attention to where each candle opens and closes. So if you ever see me trading I have the chart kind of split in half, and on the left side I'll have the 1 minute chart, and I don't have any vision's not on the 1 minute chart for me. I'm still trading the 5, but the 1 minute I'm watching where each one of those candles open and close. You don't have to do it the same way. You can just stick to the 5 or whatever time frame you're used to, but you really need to pay attention to where these candles open and close. So this next one opens and closes not only below the VWAP, but below that monthly support now, which now is a resistance. So this next candle comes through, pops up, can't really get above VWAP there, and so this next one a lot of sellers come in once they kind of see that confirmed, kind of, you know, I would say probably 2 or 3 candles in a row if you count the big red candle, and so it's kind of a good way to confirm that, selling this, buying puts, shorting it, however you want to see it, would be a good trade. Now on this down here, it's so close to VWAP, you kind of have to decide, do you want to scalp this as it bounces and kind of comes back towards VWAP or not. I wouldn't personally, because it's so close to VWAP. There's not much of a move there. Let me let's see if all my lines are going. Yeah, all my lines are off of here. So I'm going to go over here, Tesla monthly chart. I'm going to start grabbing all these areas. Since price is right there, I'm going to grab every one of these highs, opens, lows, closes, grabbing all of them. Can everybody see where this wick stopped right here? I am going to change the color of this to white. Because if you look here at the monthly chart, what would show up as the next, area of support or resistance, as far as the monthly chart goes, would be this area. What price is this? About 980. I think me and Prim actually went over this last night, and we're looking for price to get there, possibly for a nice swing trade on some calls. If it holds, of course. If it holds. We'll show you why here in a second. But so we're right here as of now. Let me see if I can change the price line color real quick. Maybe not. So the next kind of wicked area would be from this month, but it's not too far away, and Tesla can easily drop through that. So our next area that I'm kind of looking at is that 980. Grab this, grab that. I'm gonna redo that one. See if it shows up in a different spot. Pop it there and go to the weekly chart. Okay, now I'm going to drop down to the 5 and see if we have enough good data on there. Yeah, let's say we got enough. So I'm going to go look at the 4 hour and kind of pay attention to that. Yeah, we're so close to it. So let me see if I brighten this up a little bit. The white line, how many times that it came to it and bounced off of it. That's why me and Prim were like, man, we're looking for that 980 right there, the 978 area, 970, 980, for it to come down. Grab my little arrow. If it comes down to here, we could probably potentially have at least a good couple day holder on some contracts, on some calls with Tesla. Back up to probably 1,000 at least, and then maybe 1050. Of course, 1,100 would be nice too, but yeah, and that would be a very nice overnight hold, maybe a couple day hold. So just everybody watch that 980 area. All right, let me turn view app back on, turn vision back on. Does anybody have any questions so far? You guys are too quiet. I'm about to turn the music back on. Questions, questions, questions. Don't be shy.
There's been a in the chat that we're trying to answer as we go.
Let me go back and read it real quick. Hang on. Thanks for letting me know. Zoltar, there's no like how far back do you look? You know, you need to grab what you see, what stands out to you. There's no real answer on how far back you should look or be placing your lines. You know, like I said on Tesla, it can move $100 real easy, you know, in a day or two. So I know, like, hey, where current price is here, I need to go $100 to the north and $100 to the south, and make sure I have basically all these areas kind of charted out. So if it gets there, which has potential that it really could, you know, you just got to know and look at the stock and see how, you know, how much does it like to move, you know, on a good day, on a bad day. You know, like SPY might move $1 or $2 each day, so you need to kind of be, I would say maybe $5-10 above and below the current price, you know, just to be safe. Apple takes a whole lot of money to move it, so you know you don't have to chart too much on Apple around the current price, but you want to have it there. And just going through here, you can see, turn off these. You can see how it bounces in between these lines. Uses them support, uses them as resistance, and this is what we're trying to pay attention to. And this is what you need to have. If you're not Honestly, if you're not doing this when you're trading, you're kind of just gambling. So let me turn on vision. Let me turn on VWAP now that we have this charted. Now we're here in the morning when we come ready to trade, we can kind of know if we see a bull signal popping up on a good support on one of these monthly or weekly lines. You know, again, start trading with VWAP. Start understanding it, because it's huge. See this bull signal. It didn't pop up here on the bounce on this monthly support. It popped up here when these buyers really started rushing in to shoot it above the VWAP. That's when Vision started seeing the buyers really come in. So once you see that, you know, it's at the market open, so I would be definitely careful. I try myself not to trade the market open, but we got a support there with two 5-minute candles at that support, and then we're going through VWAP all at the same time. I would very comfortably jump in there while that candle's still live, you know, and take a real quick trade. Your target obviously is going to be your next level, which is something I'm going to talk about, where to kind of place your targets and where to place your stops, and then we get this kind of resistance, you know, tried to pop above it a little bit, but then quickly fell back below this area where we had that weekly area. And we get a bear signal at the same time as it gets resisted by that area and is going through the VWAP. We get a bear signal. So very comfortable again, taking a trade here. You know, we'll just go over like the stop and the target right here. This is a perfect example. So everybody can see this, right? Everybody knows what the area I'm talking about? Right in here.
Yep.
Where it gets resisted here at this yellow line. Let me brighten this line up a little bit. It gets resisted here at this yellow line, which again, my yellow lines are from areas I see of importance from the weekly charts, Reds are my monthlies. I always view my monthlies as more strong areas than the yellows, but that doesn't mean count out the yellows. They're still going to come into play. Hell, if you ever see blue lines on my chart, those are dailies, daily areas, and they still come into play. So don't count any of them out, but I just see my red lines as the stronger lines. But so let me turn back on vision. Let's say you got here on some puts, and I think I actually did buy puts this day. Yeah, that's when I, man, that day pissed me off. I bought puts here, and it was Friday, same day expiration. You know, I traded it right. I won't lie. But I sold it for $100 profit. You know, busy day. I had to go work on the house. Wanted to hurry up, get a little profit, and get out. So I took $100 profit. I looked later this day, and the contracts were like at $7,800, and I purchased mine at $2,600. So it kind of burned my ass a little bit, but can't be mad. So this is the area we're looking at. We got a bear signal as it failed to support here on our weekly level. We get a bear signal underneath that weekly level as it failed, and as VWAP is failing here. So let's say you entered in at where the next candle kind of opened there underneath the VWAP. Your stop, you need to like kind of have an idea at this, you know, either before or at the same time you're taking a trade, where your stop's going to be, and at least where your first target would be. So my stop would obviously be above kind of that high that it made right here. So this yellow area is my stop. Okay, and your first target for me would be this red line, but I would definitely, since we've already tested it here this morning off the open, I would look for this to fail. Since it couldn't get up here and break the kind of, and I'll go over the pre-market high and why you need to pay attention to pre-market high and low here in a little bit, but since it couldn't break this high here, again, as it tested up here, kind of where we opened at, started to fail, came back below VWAP, failed that support, I would definitely see this failing. So my next target would be my next line. And on the charts that I trade, I have a ton of lines. So, so I'm going to put this as a green box since that's our target. One thing everybody needs to pay attention to. Okay, one thing that helped me just go from losing and winning, losing and winning, and losing and winning, to winning most of the time. Like this year, let's see, since I started this new kind of small account was the 27th when I took the first trade on it after it settled. Since the 27th, I've only had 2 red days. One thing that changed, like I'm sure a lot of people lose a lot, or you know, they have a good day and then they have 2 bad days or 3 bad days and they have a good day. You need to have a stop. You need to have a target. Think of it as kind of a relationship. If you get into a relationship, there's only 2 things that can happen. You're either going to get married or you're going to break up. So in trading, once you have your stop and your target set, there's only 2 things that can happen. You're either going to hit your stop or you're going to hit your target. You need to understand why you have your stop and target at the places they do, at the places they are. And then once you have them set, let the trade work. If it hits your stop, that's fine. There's no big deal. That's part of it. But let it work. It's either going to hit your stop up here or it's going to hit your target. And you can see here that it hit our target. So same thing here on this next bear signal. Obviously it's a bearish day, so I wouldn't even try to go long on this day. But you can see here on this next bear signal, it's coming up towards VWAP. Couldn't really hang up there and get it. So if you got here on this bear signal and you took some more puts there, my stop would be up here above the VWAP, kind of close to that monthly area that we had some support at earlier. But I would definitely, myself, I would stop out if it started to get up above VWAP and close. And your target, you know, you can set your target at the same area kind of we had down here. You can set it at your next area. Let's just say maybe you set it for the break of that area. You wanted to get in there on the momentum and get out on the momentum, so you make sure you get filled nice and quick with some good premiums. Again, you're either going to hit your stop or hit your target. Don't do anything else. It's something like I said, I closed really early on Friday because it was same day expiration. So you can't. I don't recommend trading same day expiration, but you're either gonna hit your stop or you're gonna hit your target. Nothing else gonna happen. Does anybody have any questions on that? Because that's huge. Like you need to have those two areas 100%. Where and they don't have, like I don't place physical stops like in my orders and stuff because I got tired of getting wicked out all the damn time. A candle come smack your stop real quick and go back the direction you thought it was going to go in the first place. So what you seen me do right there, just place a nice little box or a nice line or something on the chart to where hey, if the candle or price comes up to this area, I know I need to close my position. Let me read the chat questions here since you guys are being so quiet.
So are you waiting for it to close or just hit your stop?
It's gonna depend because on sometimes if I see it coming for my stop with some momentum behind it, like with some ass behind it, that's gonna make it a difference. But if it's kind of just creeping its way, I might wait for that candle to close. Does anybody else have any other questions? Yeah, Red Mamba. I'll look at SPY. It's gonna be the same thing I'm doing here, just finding all these monthly areas. I grab all the highs, all the lows, all the opens, and all the closes right around where price is on the monthly, and then I'll look at the weekly to see if I need to there.
How you doing?
What's up?
Can you talk a little bit about how you gauge how long you're gonna stay in a trade, how you're watching momentum, and how it starts to fade?
Yeah.
And when you decide you're gonna get out.
Yeah. See, I don't know if you guys are on our Facebook group or not, but see, there was a deal. Let's see what day it was. It was the day that we all bought Tesla calls. It was over the weekend. They came out that badass news and everything. It was right here. And somebody had asked me, well, why wouldn't you hold for that whole move right there? Running up. The fact of the matter is, it's easy to talk shit on a chart that already happened. So that's my issue with a bunch of people on YouTube and watching the videos on YouTube and stuff like that. It's easy to talk shit on charts that already happened. Like, oh, you would have got in here and you would have sold here, blah, blah, blah. Most likely you wouldn't have, because once you get in here, especially trading Tesla, if anybody's ever traded Tesla before, hey, don't overstay your welcome, because they'll kick you out real quick. But this day, I think I was out probably by at least 10 a.m. I got in here, took the first rip, and I think I closed there. But this day, same thing. It's going to depend on price action. Like, what's the Friday or Thursday? Hold on, I think I just got disconnected. Can you guys hear me still?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can't see.
Yeah. Yep.
See?
Damn it. Okay, how about now?
Yep.
Wonder why I got disconnected. Okay, so everybody can see again?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Dylan,
like,
do you use your Vision SNR along with your lines?
I do sometimes, but like with the SNR, it only gives you so many lines, because it's automatic, and if, we have to have it to where it's not going to like fill your entire chart with lines, because then it would kind of not help you in any way. So typically, like, I grab my monthly areas, I grab my weekly areas, I grab some from the daily sometimes. But a lot of people use Vision SNR the same way, and you definitely can. But if it's ripping one way, quite a bit, like Tesla did here, it's going to take a little bit for, you know, these upper kind of lines to start showing up before, you know, so if it's kind of playing in a range, it's great. But if it's not kind of trading in the range, then, you know, you're going to kind of have to wait a few minutes for them to pop up if it's kind of hitting new ground for the day.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. But yeah, this is another, like this bear signal here. Since the market's open, we're obviously trading options. We can't trade in pre-market. A bear signal that came up here, hit this monthly area, and bounced back. You know, almost guaranteed that you could call this, hey, we're going back to the VWAP. So that's one 5-minute candle. Myself personally, I wouldn't have touched it, especially with the news for this day. But you see it gets supported on this monthly area and at the VWAP. So as you see this kind of get supported here, 1, 2, 3 candles in a row, 3 5-minute candles, so 15 minutes in a row, holds the VWAP, holds this monthly area. By the time this next bull signal comes in, you have pretty good confidence that it's going to be a good trade. So you can start, you know, I would kind of say, you know, that could be a target that close, you know, depending on, let's say if you have more than one contract, you know, you can start taking some off the table right there and see if we're going to break through it like it did here. But then again, you look at your next area, your next line. That would be your next target. That would be your next area of resistance. And you can see exactly where the bear signal came in and the take profit there. And then it fell back to our next line. And then we got a bull signal there at that line as it was supported. And buyers started to step in. And so a lot of people, you know, wait for, you know, these breaks of resistance to get in, and that's perfectly fine. You know, there's a lot of people that trade breakouts like that. Nothing wrong with it. It's a good way to trade. I usually, for me, if I'm playing like long trades, I'm trading bounces of support just like this, or support on the VWAP, either way. Same thing with puts though on short trades. You know, you bounce off resistances. Let me see if
What VWAP indicator do you use on TradingView?
what's that?
What VWAP indicator do you use on TradingView?
Just head up there to the indicators and then type in volume weighted average price, and it'll start popping up there.
Is it what the favorites? Is it all built-ins? Oh,
Yeah. Make sure you do the built-in, and then it'll have like some green bands on it. I turn them off because I don't really use them. You just go in the little settings menu there for the VWAP indicator and turn them off.
Yeah, great. Cheers. Thanks.
Yeah. It's another area here, bear signal crossing through VWAP. The next candle breaks through that support area. Good puts. See if I can get my internet to work a little better here. All right, somebody said we want to check out SPY. SPY. So do the same thing. Grab the.
Noticed you're not drawing any trend lines. You're just doing resistance. Do you typically only favor those for day trades versus?
For trend lines, if I'm day trading, I'm gonna be looking. I'll look at the 15-minute for like a main trend, you know, for day trading, and then I will look at. Like I said earlier, I have a split chart deal, and if you ever watch like the 1 minute, the 1 minute has kind of its own like trend. It'll make like its own. Let's see, Tesla. It typically likes to make, you know, on a good day, like 2 or 3, like trends, and you can see them clear as day on the 1 minute. You know, but if you were looking at the 5 or the 15, you're not going to see them very well. But
Gotcha.
so that's what I do for day trading. Of course, if you're going longer term, then yeah, you definitely want to see if there's any type of good trend.
Well, thanks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, it's getting a little busy right here, but you can see right, let me grab the little marker tool. Right here, how all of these candles kind of hit the same area. So that's definitely a good area. Drop down to the weekly. And you see all these kind of hitting the same upper resistance there. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 weeks this thing hit the same resistance. There's an area right there. Hitting a few times. Okay, now does everybody see kind of what we're getting at here? Does this make sense to everybody?
Makes sense. Some
Are we on scalper 2 here? Scalper 1, that's what. You always want to change your settings up. Test, like, see which, like, Spy's gonna like a different setting than Tesla, Apple, stuff like that. So play with your settings on Vision. You can quickly see which one it likes best. But yeah, I mean, this is how I day trade. And once you have all these areas and all these lines, and again, definitely have VWAP. You're missing out if you're not trading with that. It just becomes pretty damn easy. And I know I don't have every single line I should have on here. Like, I'm skipping over the daily, but do the same thing on the daily. Don't skip the daily like I am. Do the same thing there, but I mean, bear signal at this weekly area. You could call it a double top if you want to, but double top, you can only call it double top once it's closed. But bear signal at this weekly area had a nice little rip from this bull signal here. Pull back to VWAP and then another stretch up here. That's pretty easy call that, hey, we're probably going to have a nice, good pullback on this bear signal. Target right there, VWAP. That's your target. So let me come in here. We'll say our stop would be up here above this weekly area. Kind of give us some room, and just in case it wicks up here but continues to want to fail. Target, VWAP. Let the trade work. It's either going to hit your stop or it's going to hit your target. I'm telling you, just doing that alone, man. I'm telling you, like just having that, just mentality. Like, look, you're gonna hit my stop or you're gonna hit my target, and I'm not getting out of the trade until you hit one of them. So you better do something. Just having that mentality changed how profitable I was, like, a million times. Like, does anybody else? You guys are so quiet today. Does anybody else trade like that, to where like you put a stop, you put a target, and you hit my stop or you hit my target? Until then, I'm staying.
I don't personally trade like that, but this is revealing information. I'm very new at it, so I'm loving the info.
I'm glad I could help. But yeah,
And I use the automated resistance and support lines that come on TradingView, but I suppose that going and marking those lines just like you were showing earlier makes more sense.
yeah.
Or is
Well,
better.
I mean, look, the automated. I mean, for all the reason why we made the Vision SNR is because we've seen all the other support and resistance indicators that are out there, and we're not a big fan. So we made Vision SNR, and you can see Vision SNR had these beautiful support and resistance lines that we didn't have. So like, don't count them out. But these the areas I have marked on the chart are just super strong areas, and so I want to go ahead and have them on there. Because like I said, Vision, by the time it gets here and pops up here, Vision might not already have this line on here. So, it'll take a candle or two for that line to pop up there from the Vision SNR. But you can see all these areas that I don't have marked on there that are very important.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm definitely going to go mark those lines first thing and then trade off the VWAP.
Oh, man.
Awesome.
VWAP must have. Now, let me show you guys another deal. I went over it last night. We'll kind of mute everything so you kind of...
Before you change screens,
yeah.
Do you ever use the take profit signals?
Oh, yeah.
Signals?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You definitely want to pay attention to them at least. You can, I don't know who all's in the chat here, but you can ask around people that use Vision. If you don't listen to Vision and you ignore it, you're going to regret it.
Because I noticed on this chart, it kind of lined up with the VWAP.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at. Good eye. That's what you're doing. Exactly what I want you to do. Pay attention to where these lines or where the signals are coming in. They're not just random. This bull signal down here to support isn't random. This bull signal right here as it supported VWAP is not random. This bear signal up here at this resistance is not random. You're doing exactly what I've been trying to get people to do forever. You just put these lines on your chart. You need to see why these signals are coming in where they're coming in. Just because Vision's not going to be 100% accurate. It's not going to be 100% perfect. To expect that would be silly. Some people get Vision. They're like, yeah, I'm going to be a millionaire by next week. Just bang every signal. No. No. You don't want to do that. Vision can only show you, hey, there's some buyers coming in here, there's some sellers coming in here. Hey, this might, we're seeing a lot of people, kind of get out of the position here. We might want to take profit. It can't see these lines, and it can't see the VWAP, and it's not built on any other indicators. So in order to help you help Vision and help yourself, you need to have it's pretty simple homework. Just placing some lines on the chart and having the VWAP on there and understanding, hey, what signal could I be looking for from Vision as it's coming up to this yellow line or as it's coming down to this red line? Or, hey, maybe I'll be looking at a bull signal if this gets supported for a good couple candles in a row here at the VWAP. And once the bull signal comes in, you understand why it's coming in. That doesn't mean right here this bull signal comes in, a bunch of buyers are coming in because they see some support. Stand by. That doesn't mean that this can't immediately reverse on you and slam back down to the VWAP. That's just part of it, You'll have that happen sometimes, sure. But,
can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I think for me this has been helpful because I would do prep homework, but this really explains why my homework has not been working. And I think this gives a really good structure to it. And I think, as you were just talking about, helping to explain why Vision gives the signal when it gives me a lot more confidence.
Yeah.
I am one of those people that likes to go with, well, my loss is going to be 10% up, and my win is going to be when I hit 20%. But
yep.
I think now I'm feeling more like I'm a gambler, unless you've kind of shown me well, if you're putting in a call and your call's a week out or 2 weeks out, you can watch it go more towards those, monthly or weekly, whatever the level is,
Uh-huh.
and feel like, some level of confidence, and not like, oh my gosh, is it gonna is this is gonna as high as it's gonna get or as low as it's gonna get? Should I jump out now? Should I jump in now? What should I do? And so this is really helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. That's what I'm trying to get everybody to see is why Vision's calling these signals where it's calling them. Like this bull signal comes in, there's a bunch of buyers, it's pushing through VWAP. Like I said, Vision doesn't know anything about VWAP. Vision has no indicators built in. It's just seeing a bunch of buyers come in. So it's our job to look at it and say, hey, there's a bunch of buyers coming in here trying to break through VWAP, trying to get up here towards this weekly level, probably to try to get above it. But they couldn't hang it. Sellers were stronger. The bear signal as we cross back below VWAP. So our target right over here would be this area on some puts, obviously. Our stop, I would say, probably would be up here, and watch it to try to break that if it comes up there to try to break this. And then so one or two things are going to happen. We're going to hit our target or we're going to hit our stop. And again, I don't like to talk shit on charts that already happened, but
Boom.
So like on this bull signal over here to the right, you see it gets supported here. We're on the 15-minute chart, so we're talking at least 30 minutes of support. If you count this candle a little bit more, the bull signal comes in, we're crossing through this monthly resistance, and we're on my target would be that VWAP. If you get a little bit more by the time you close, as it gets above VWAP, cool. But that would be my target. So let's see. Somebody asked me.
Can you hear me?
Barely.
So there's a question in the chat that I have, and there's another guy asking the same. So I don't know if you have time by then, please. You're talking about me when I asked about puts? What?
Yeah. What question was it?
So I was just asking, based on what we just started out, you could expect it if it breaks this monthly line that you have right there, to probably go for some puts into the next monthly.
Oh yeah. Yeah. If you wanna look at it like that, like I'd go to like the hourly and see kind of where the low is here recently. So that'd be like this low down here. So I would say if it comes down here and breaks this low, that's where I would look to probably get some kind of, I wouldn't say swing them necessarily, but that'd be a good area to hold some puts for maybe a couple hours. And it's looking like it's it's wanting to do exactly that.
Mine was that's what I noticed. I've been posted in the chart there.
What'd you say? Can you kind of breaking up there?
I have a question in the chat.
Asking this. Okay, I think I see it. Asking this question because not having a huge that question. Not having a huge wallet. Usually looking to stocks between $1 and $50. Yeah, Zoltar, it'd be you're doing the exact same thing on anything you trade. This works for any stock that I've came across, any crypto, Forex. A lot of people trading US 30 in here works the same way. You want to do this for everything. If you're going to trade something, no matter what it is, I would make sure that there's at least some good volume there every day. Because if the chart's not moving, your profit or loss, isn't going to be moving either. So, let's go. Let's delete all these lines because there's something else I want to show you guys to pay attention to. So put a line. I'm going to put a line here at the pre-market high. I'll make this a little bigger so everybody can see it. And I want to put a line. You want to put a line at the pre-market low, but this is. I would put a line here because it just makes more sense that these would be most of the areas. So, a lot of people trade based off this alone. And I'm not saying you should do it based off this alone, but when I trade, I pay attention to the pre-market low and high. And if I was watching, if it got above this pre-market high, I would look at this after hours high, but it's so close that, we'll do it just to say we don't know what it's going to do yet. But a lot of people trade based off the pre-market high and low. And they say, okay, if it starts to break above the pre-market high, they buy calls right there. And if it breaks the pre-market low, they buy puts. And I've done it. And it definitely works. I would say you want to have, some other kind of reasoning to get into the trade, like a VWAP breakthrough. Like if it's coming up here, it gets resisted by the pre-market high again. We turn on vision. Let's see. Let's play with vision here for a minute. Let's see. We get a bear signal right there. All right. So a bear signal. Can't break through the pre-market high. We turn red. We're going through VWAP. So there's one confirmation. We couldn't get above the pre-market high. Second confirmation. And we get a bear signal. So for me, that's enough right there to be looking for puts, but I want to see if it breaks this pre-market low now. So you see the next candle breaks the pre-market low. We close below VWAP. We got the bear signal last candle. So for me, puts are looking good right there, and that's probably where I would enter as it broke the pre-market low. So it's just another thing kind of just to pay attention to. For me, my stop would probably be back above here. If it got above VWAP and got above kind of where this candle opened at, that's where I would look to stop out. And I think we did have a monthly line down here, kind of where all these got supported, I believe. So that would obviously be your target. But I just wanted to point out, just everybody to pay attention to the pre-market low and the pre-market high. And it looks like this day was sideways here, so not much going on there, but
I was going to ask how you deal with a sideways day.
just don't trade it. I mean, there's definitely money to be made in here for sure. Let me go to the 5 minute and look at that day. That was man, my internet's being super slow right now.
Just curious, as say you get into a trade and then all of a sudden it just goes sideways and just sits there.
Yeah. I don't have my damn lines on here anymore, but so like this was a super sideways day. But there's definitely money to be made here. Like if this, for me, I look at VWAP as like a moving support and resistance indicator, but I also look at it like it has like a magnetic pull. So like here, as it gets far away from VWAP, I'm going to be looking to trade this thing back to it. And then as it gets to it, that's where I would look to get out, take profit, whatever. So that's kind of how you might look at that on a sideways day. Because there's there's going to be some movement. There's definitely money to be made on a sideways day. Just don't expect a whole lot, So like here, as it moves away from the VWAP quite a bit, I would look for, some puts to go back to VWAP, and then I would take profit as it gets to it. But yeah, there's usually not much you can do on a sideways day.
But if it's something like Amazon or Tesla with high theta, you just want to jump and run.
It depends on your I mean, like for me, I don't really pay attention too much to theta because, I'm in them and out of them same day anyway. And I'm buying now. I used to buy at the money, but I've had really good luck with in the money calls and puts. So now I'm buying pretty good in the money. So theta doesn't really concern me too much, and it doesn't really affect me too much unless those calls and puts start to get out of the money. Then it's really going to start to affect you.
Hey, so to clarify, Dylan, on that, you trade in the money. Are you, say Tesla's trading at like 10.30 at the moment, and then are you trading at 10.25? Does that make sense?
Yeah, so there's not going to be, without seeing it like, right here in front of us, live in the market, what I do is I look in the money. I usually look at the first 3 to 5 contracts that are in the money, and I see which one has the most open interest. The open interest picks what strike I want for me. Because if there's one that has, 5,000 open interest and one that has 1,000 and then one that has 15,000, there's a big demand for that one that, the strike that has 15,000 open interest. And so if anybody knows anything about price and demand, the more people that want something, the higher the price goes, and the faster the price will go. So for me, if I pick the highest with open interest, a lot of people want that strike. If it starts to go further and further in the money and in your favor, your premiums are gonna go, your profit's gonna fly a lot faster than something that doesn't have much open interest, because other people look for the same thing. And so if more and more people keep wanting your strike in your contracts, your premiums are going to go up more than the others. I don't know if that makes sense or not. It's kind of hard to explain, but
No, it does. I just I'll be looking out for that when I'm starting a
yeah,
personal trade.
yeah, that's what picks the strike for me. I look at the first 3 to 5 in the money, because obviously stuff on contracts on Tesla are expensive, so I'm not going to be buying too far in the money, but I look at the first 3 to 5, kind of right in the money, and then see which one has the most open interest, and that's the one I pick.
Okay, so if I don't mean to beat a dead horse here, but so if I'm looking at an options to trade Tesla, and I'm looking at Tesla right now, it's at 10.27. So if this was open, would you be looking like as close to 10.27, or
are you on
north, like 10.30 or 10.25?
Are you on Webull right now?
No, I'm on Robin.
Okay, it should be pretty much the same. Are you looking at calls or puts?
Right now it's set at calls, but whatever.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah, set at call.
Okay, so my first in the money is 10.25.
Okay.
Do you still have the same thing?
Right below. Or it's in the money, I suppose, yeah.
Okay, so I see $1,000 in the money call has the most open interest right now. That I see right off the bat. There's, for me it says there's 1,300 open interest
11.
on it. And then the other ones are like 78, 251, 129, 250, 165. Those will shoot up come tomorrow, but so for this example, that's the one I would pick. But it's also going to depend, like what's your account size? Because this contract's $5,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For one contract, yeah.
Yeah, so that's going to come into play, obviously. For me, like since I just started a small account, I wouldn't pick that one because it's $5,000. So I would just choose the next best one that fits me.
A little bit higher.
Yeah.
Where are you seeing the cost on that? That says $5,000 on it for that 1,000.
The bid is at $50.
$50. Okay,
yeah,
so
$50.15. So that's just quick. Hey, if I want in, I'm gonna be around there.
Yeah. Cool. That's awesome, man. I didn't even think about that. So that trade will go through pretty quickly, even though it's that far in the money.
Oh yeah. I don't ever have any problems getting filled on Tesla.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's kind of the good. It's kind of the good thing about trading stuff that there's a lot of people on. You never really have to worry about getting filled. I have traded some stuff where it's just like you're waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting to get filled, and it sucks. But yeah, the main thing that I look at is open interest.
Okay.
If it doesn't have much open interest, I'm not interested myself.
That's cool, because I wasn't during that.
Yeah. Well, not really now. That one. No. With the highest open interest, it's right on.
I heard something about open interest, but you were cutting out.
Yeah, sorry, can you hear me now?
Yep, that's better.
Yeah, I was just wondering what the spread is on that contract you were looking at.
I think the bid was at $50.15, and the ask was, I think, 51. Let me go back to it. So not too crazy for Tesla. I've definitely seen a lot more than that. Yeah, $50.50 on the bid and 51 on the ask. Of course, it's the weekend, and these numbers really are probably not accurate.
Yeah, good point.
But just for an example.
Dylan, do you have a game plan where for any said day you're saying, okay, today based on X, Y, or Z, I'm going to be only putting or shorting versus maybe today I'm only looking for bullish entries and going long?
Yeah.
And if so, where do you make that determination?
Well, obviously, you're going to want to look kind of see, hey, is there any bad news on Tesla? You know, since I trade Tesla mainly. Like, that's really all I trade. But so whatever you're trading, you're going to want to see, hey, is there any bad news today on that ticker? And then I look at I always have the SPY. I always have a tab pulled up to where I can see the SPY and the Qs. You know, because if the whole market's going down, most likely what you're trading is going to too. So after you look at that, I look at basically like I was just showing the pre-market low, pre-market high. Is it above or below that? And then is it above or below VWAP? If it's below VWAP, you can pretty much guarantee it's bearish. And if it's if it's above, you can pretty much call it and say it's bullish. You know, so that's kind of the few things that I look at. Yeah, most of the time, everything's going to follow the SPY or the Qs or the Russells, but I don't trade that kind of stuff anymore. So I really just pay attention to SPY and Qs. And then I pay attention to the pre-market low and high. And then I pay attention to, like, the main indicator, is it above or below VWAP? That's huge.
Yeah.
You see it was below here from the morning, and it stayed bearish all day. You know.
And if it's just chopping VWAP, you just steer clear.
Yeah, if it's not above it, you know, it's bearish to me. If it's above it, then it's bullish. So like right here, it's below it. So I'm gonna be like, you know, you could play the bounce play, and be bullish on the bounce, but you know, until it finds that area that it's gonna actually get supported on, you know, you don't want to catch falling knives. So the best option would be to play the short side until it actually gets above VWAP and actually holds above it.
Hey, Dylan, have you heard of indications from like the 10-year bond market? If it's up, then all tech stocks are algorithms or algos are trading tech stocks down. I kind of came across that information. I was just kind of curious if that's something that you've heard before.
I've never heard it, no, but I could see it, you know, because tech. I mean, tech's been getting smacked.
Yeah, I came across like basically YouTube on it, and there was some substantial evidence there that the 10-year bond market, if it goes upwards, then algos are just trying, you know, they're systematized to just sell evaluation stocks, which is Tesla, anything tech, Block, Meta, and all that stuff. And so I've just kind of been watching that trend for news on this stocks, especially Tesla, because I'm like you, I want to look at Tesla.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. I do not doubt it at all. Yeah, here's another just quick thing right here. You see this pre-market high is one of our monthly areas, and it broke above it. So, you know, like I said, there's a lot of people that I know that trade just based on that. Well, we get a bull signal as it finds some support here, crosses through VWAP. We get the bull signal as it crosses through VWAP and that monthly area. And then these next two candles kind of confirm the support for us. And so you take some quick calls on that. And that doesn't look like a big move, but I mean, that's a huge move. Let's see, just what? That's almost $20. You know, and on one call, that's a huge profit. So a lot of people get mixed up in trying to be like, I want the whole move, you know, like this big, massive. It's not going to happen. If you try to chase, you know, the top and chase the bottom, you're gonna lose your account, guaranteed. A lot
I
of
had a quick question
yeah,
about the take profit signals. What I noticed sometimes a take profit signal will flash, but it'll be kind of almost break even or just like barely in profit. How do you know if you should like just get out or if you should just let it ride because there's some more momentum going with it?
there would probably be a lot. We'd probably have to watch something like that live, you know, because there's a whole like millions of situations to where, you know, each answer would be different for that. Like this right here, the bear signal, and then there's a take profit here. You'd have to look at the day, have to look at the SPY, have to look at the cues. You know, like it's kind of faded for the past. Let's see, it started right here at 10, and by the time that take profit, so it's been fading here for like 2 hours. I think this is one of the days that they were waiting for some Fed news, I believe, and so it was really, really slow. So probably not a good time to be trading anyway. But if you had to make bets on Fed news, you know, it's usually better on the short side than the long side. But that goes back to what I was saying earlier. If you get in on this bear signal, you know, my stop would be here above this monthly area, and then you could say your target would be, you know, wherever you want your target to be, obviously. But the damn thing keeps wigging out on me. Let's say my target would probably be, because I'm not going to, like I said, it's easy to talk shit on charts that already happened. So we can say, oh, my target's going to be down here, but likely it's not. So I'm just going to say my target would be that next area that it could be supported at under VWAP, since we're crossing through VWAP here and we've been holding under it. So for me, I'm going to start getting worried if it gets above VWAP. If it gets above VWAP, I would start getting worried because it could come up here and hit my stop next. But if it's not even coming like to test VWAP, hold that sucker. You know, if you're in some puts and it's not even coming to test VWAP, hold her. Because there's a good chance that it's going to dip further. But again, you're either going to hit your stop or you're going to hit your target.
Your stop is at the previous levels of resistance up there? Or
Yeah. Yeah, I usually put mine a little above the resistance, because there's a lot of times, you know, like this right here. You know, you could have your stop up here, you know, whatever. And there's a lot of times where you'll get some pokes up there. But, you know, if you actually stop out too early, you know, like if you put your stop, let me see if I can move this thing. If you put your stop at that resistance, so there's a good chance you're going to get stopped out. So give yourself a little room, you know, because if it comes up here to test this, you know, it's likely that it could get resisted and just get smacked back down. You know, but you really only want to start worrying about it if it starts to break through that. So that's why I put mine a little bit above.
Right on.
And then right here, since we were talking about like to take profit signals and stuff, we're coming through VWAP, so there's a good chance that this area, this monthly area right here, is going to get broke, since it's so close. So that wouldn't really be your target, obviously, because we're already there by the time we get in to some puts, and so we're just watching for it to fade down here to the next area, and so that would be my target personally. And then if you had more than one contract, you know, your next target would be here. You'd take some off the table. Let's say you had 3 contracts. You know, I'd probably take 2 off right here, leave 1 for a runner. And so my next target to take that runner off would be right here at my next line. You know, just, hey, here's a target.
No question here, but darn, I'm ready to trade.
Right? I'm ready to go too, man. I wish crypto would start acting right, man, so I could trade some crypto, but it's been so sideways, I'm just like, forget it.
Yeah. I haven't got into crypto yet, but
I want to, but it's just like, with it so sideways, I'm good.
Yeah.
And it used to be, like a few years ago, it used to trade pretty good on the weekends, you know? Like, it would be like what I look like I'd want to trade on the weekend, but then it just started dying off on the weekends. Do you set your stop and target in your trade in your broker or just in the chart? Hamid, I only set it on the chart. I don't set hard stops anymore. And by hard stop, I mean like putting in a stop order, you know, or a stop limit. Like in Weeble, I don't do that. What you seen me do right there, my little boxes, is exactly what I do. I put my little box that way, because like I said, you get wicked out only for it to keep going in your direction anyway. I got tired of that. Does anybody else have any questions?
Can you pull up the chart on BA?
BA, I think I have it in my watch list over here. Yeah, I do, right there. Nice looking day right there. Yeah, see, I mean, this is exactly like, I don't have any lines on my chart, but I can grab some here in a second, but I just wanted to point out, like, look at VWAP. Look at these signals in relation to it. So I'm trying to just teach everybody, like, understanding why the signals are coming in, where they're coming in. I kind of explained last night when we were kind of just hanging out and chatting and stuff, like, you know, like a lot of the problem with like alerts groups and stuff is like you make some money on this penny stock or that or this, whatever, you know, with the whole pump, AMC, GME, whatever. You make a bunch of money. But are you confident enough that you can come back tomorrow and do the same thing? And the answer is no, you're not. You're not confident that you can quit your job, trade tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day and pay your bills at the end of the month. So you need to understand, like even with vision, like why is it calling the signals where it's calling them? Because understanding why it's calling the signals where it's calling them is going to give you the confidence to say, hey, I can come in here tomorrow and I have a very good chance of making profit tomorrow because I'm looking for these few things to line up. I'm looking for a bull signal or a bear signal at one of these lines, or I'm looking for a bull or a bear signal as it gets, you know, supported or resisted by the VWAP. You know, like, I mean, dude, these two areas, I've never personally traded Boeing, but I've seen I've seen the profits that come from Boeing contracts, and they're very good. So just knowing, like, the bear signal here, let me look at this 5-minute chart. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So for 30 minutes, they couldn't break it above VWAP. So when this bear signal comes in and you see this big engulfing red candle, I mean, what do you know, easy money. That's an easy call to say, okay, like my confidence level on this, on my puts making profit here, based on vision signal right there, is very high. So from the VWAP here, I mean, that's like a $2 move, which doesn't sound like a lot. If you've never traded options, I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but a $2 move on an option contract is huge.
If you have like 5 contracts, it's massive.
Yeah. Yeah, especially depending on what you're trading, you know. So like here, this another bear said, hey, pop down here. I'm sure there's, you know, I can go to the monthly chart, weekly chart, draw my lines, and I'm sure there's an area right here. And then it pops up here. We get another bear signal at that rejection of the VWAP. And again, we buy some puts. If you have money left, if you have settled funds, you know, that's a $5 move. Huge. And so, like I said before, let me get rid of this box. You know, I don't have any lines on my chart again, but let's say we're just basing off vision the VWAP. Your stop would be above VWAP. If it breaks above VWAP, you know, that's where we look to probably close our trade. And our target, you know, draw your lines again, like I said, or have a 10%, 20%, 50% target that you're trying to reach. But either way, your target and your stop, one of them's going to hit. Don't touch it until they do. So I'm not getting out of this trade unless my stop gets hit or I hit my target. And like I said, like your target could be 10%, 20%. Mine on Tesla here recently, since I have a small account, I'm just looking for 10%. So if I see 10%, I typically take it. And 10% is freaking good, dude. If you keep adding 10% every day, or every couple days to your account, by the end of the year, you're gonna have a big account. So don't think 10% small. But like I said, does anybody not understand what we're going over here? Especially if you have vision. If you don't have vision, I don't know what you're doing with your life. You're really missing out. But for people with vision, do you understand what we're looking for? Please type in the chat if you're too shy to talk.
Oh yeah, man. It definitely helps.
That's America, Dylan. You are a beauty. This is amazing stuff.
Beautiful man, Dylan, you are.
But now, thank you. But now that let's go to let's start popping some lines on Boeing, because now I'm interested. Because seeing something that trades that well, like, I'm ready to trade this sucker. Let's go. Let me grab my lines here. Okay, so I see a good spot. Do I like it? Do I like it? Let's see over here. Let's grab that. And then it starts to line up over there to the right. Makes sense now. Yeah, since we're in this area, I'm just going to grab a lot of this spots, so just bear with me.
How'd you get the little toolbox up in the right hand corner?
Go to the, like, this stuff and then hit that star. And it, like, adds them to, like, a little favorite deal.
Oh, very cool. Thanks.
No problem. Also, the little magnet over here in the left, like, little toolbar. That's my new favorite tool, like, because it automatically snaps to the, like, open, low, high, low, close of all the bodies and wicks and stuff. So it's super easy. Like, you just hover over where you want to pop that line, and it just snaps it right to it.
Wondered how you're drawing them so quick.
Yeah. Like, it definitely wouldn't be that easy if it didn't snap to them. I just found that like a week ago, and I'm like just loving it.
So that's the magnet you're referring to?
Yeah, little magnet on the left side there. So, okay, just want to point out, see how the bottom of this, where the wick closed right here? On this candle? Little doji there?
Yep.
Let me try to draw a box around it. So pay attention when I place this line. What else lines up with that sucker? Okay, I'm going to drop it, and then look right here. Same exact spot. So this can't, like, if you have this charted, you know these lines, somewhere on one of your lines it's going to find support. And so there's a really good chance, hey, okay, that was a monthly area. I mean, I don't know how Boeing's moving in the last month, but it's on the monthly chart. It's definitely got a little bounce there to it. Maybe just for January, huh? So I'm going to look at the weekly now and see if anything just stands out to me that I don't already have. This does here, but I'm not close enough to it to worry about it. Let's see, anything in here? Yeah.
I notice you haven't been doing a lot of your tilted channels type drawings.
Oh, I do still. It's just, like I said, it depends on how I'm trading for the day. Like if I'm swing trading, then yeah, I'm gonna do it for sure. But like I said, on Tesla, since that's all I've been trading here recently. When I'm live trading, I'm gonna be live trading again here soon. Probably, I would say probably middle to the end of February. You guys will see. Like you see this little toolbox that we were talking about earlier, that Ray tool. that is what I use now, like for just like a quick little trend line. Because if I, especially with the magnet, you gotta have the magnet on. I'm telling you, that magnet is so good. So I snap one end, and then I snap the other end here, and it just goes ahead and floats my trend line to the infinity of the chart. And so like it's kind of like a man, it's kind of hard to explain. Like a double point, like ray. You put one point somewhere, and then you drop the second point somewhere else, and it just drops. That's what I do. Like since I'm day trading Tesla, I said I have my split chart. 1 minute on the left, right. It has the 5 minute. It's easier to explain. It's really hard to show you without kind of like doing it live. But Tesla will just keep on setting up 1 minute trends, and then as soon as that trend breaks, I know, hey, yeah, let's go the other direction. You know, I look at these things that I showed you guys before. I'm looking for a signal from Vision. Where are we at in relation to VWAP? Where are we at, you know, on our monthly and weekly resistance areas and support areas? You know, I'll show you guys when we're live trading again. It's pretty badass.
Dylan, I just want to verify, make sure I have it right in when you're marking off those lines from the month and the week resistance.
Yeah, we'll just like I said before, like on the monthly, I'm grabbing every high, every open, every low, every close. See the prices right here, around 215. I'm gonna grab a lot of these.
Like 10 candles or 15 candles or.
There's no magical number because every chart's gonna be different. Whatever, like you need to have, like I said, like I don't know how much Boeing moves typically in a day, but let's say it moved $20, you know, or it could easily move $20 north or south. I want to have probably $30 to $40 of lines on both sides of the price line. And so I'm going to grab like almost all of these opens, closes, highs, and lows in that area because they're all going to matter.
So you're kind of going to be within the most recent range coming at the week.
Yeah, and like if you see something else like up here, there's a lot of support up here. You know, probably like around this area. Let's see, do I have a line here? Like around, I don't know why I'm not drawing a line. Hello, trading view. Like there's a lot of support probably up in this area. Like you want to have that. You know, if you see it, definitely grab it. But since I'm day trading and I'm typically not holding very long, I want everything of where it could move tomorrow. And then so, you know, as Monday night comes through, I'll look at the chart again of what I want to trade tomorrow. Yeah, you can do this on anything. You don't have to find something that, hey, you know, it's got news, or hey, it doesn't have to have news, doesn't have to have shit. Everything moves every day. So just find like a company you like to trade, like Apple. You know, I have a lot of Apple products. You know, I should probably trade Apple. So I do, like Monday night comes around, I'm going to look at it again. I'm going to see if there's any more lines that I need to place. Tuesday night comes around, I'm going to do it again. Wednesday night again. Yeah, just do a little bit of homework the night before and rock and roll in the morning, man. You know, you're not chasing anything.
I just want to make sure I have this right in my head because I'm liking this more than the Vision SNR. This level looks a lot better.
Yeah, like I said, the SNR is really good at what it does, but you know, it can be late to the party sometimes.
Yeah, I noticed that. I'll be looking at it here. I'll be at work or something, and I'm starting to see the resistance form. And then I look away and I look back, and boom, it's got it. Sometimes I mark it off myself, and then when I look back again, then the Vision SR is talking right on the same line.
Yeah, where Vision R usually shines is like late afternoon, like after lunch. You know, because most of the time, you know, whatever chart you're looking at, the stock has already moved for like its daily range most of the time by lunchtime, and so it's really easy to trade the afternoon because you know it's just going to trade within that daily range already made. But now that I'm just going to stop drawing lines here. I'm just going to go to the 5 minute. Let's see if I have enough here. I could probably have some more. Let me go back to the weekly since I didn't really grab too much on the weekly. There's a lot of gaps in there. Oh yeah, there's some that I need still. Right there. Change to yellow. It can get real confusing real quick, like when you're on these higher time frames that you're actually taking the lines from, but it quickly clears up once you get to the smaller time frame that you're actually going to trade. Like this, like you can see, like it's getting real busy real quick. But I want all of it. Yahar. Now we're cooking. Alright, I'm going to turn on VWAP.
Yeah, that's definitely sick.
And I'm going to turn on vision. Now we can look. Okay. So we opened above this monthly area. Popping above VWAP. Popping above that weekly area. So that bull signal definitely would have been, you know, you'd have to wait till open to buy contracts. But bear signal through VWAP. It's chopping around here pretty good. But bear signal target would be your next line through VWAP there. Pops above VWAP after getting supported there. So this is kind of the way you need to see it. It got supported. Now it's getting above VWAP. Now this little doji candle here closed above VWAP. The next one opened above VWAP. We get a bull signal here. So we have a pretty good indication that now we're going to be pretty bullish. And whoop, your target right here. Again, it doesn't look like a big move, but it is. My stop would probably be somewhere around here below VWAP. Because if it broke down below it a good ways, the likelihood is it's going down a little more. So my stop would be probably here, maybe even at that support. Because another test of that support would have probably broken. So target there. You know, if you have more than one contract, have a couple targets. Bada bing, bada boom. You're either going to get stopped out or you're going to take profit. It's the only two things that can happen. I'm telling you, trading with that mentality was a huge shift. Just that. And so pay attention. Here's another thing pay attention to. You know, how many times has it tested? Like I just said down here, if it touched this again, it most likely would have broke through. This got tested 3 times. Third time's a charm. Your target VWAP. Boom. Stop above this, obviously, in case it got broken finally, but likelihood of that happening after testing it 3 times, not going to happen. Not saying it couldn't happen, just likely. It's not going to happen. Target for me would be VWAP. Because there's no guarantee if it gets to VWAP that it's going to break through VWAP. It could easily come to VWAP and bounce right back up. So that's why my target would be VWAP. You're either going to hit your stop or you're going to hit your target. Let's go back to this next day here. A lot of choppy city. I might be on Scalper 2, actually. I'm on Scalper 1. Let's look at what Scalper 2 said. Jeez, I love Scalper 2.
So when you're setting your stops and take profits, could you just use a trend line and set an alert on that if you're kind of like distracted with other stuff?
Yeah. Yeah, well, you can use the horizontal ray is kind of what I like to use for that. It only like comes to where you set it. You see how it stops right here.
Okay.
And then you just hit the add alert, and then you can hit to where it's crossing up, crossing down, greater than, less than, moving up, moving down. You know, how much percent is it above or below? And then I would probably have that sucker like set at once per minute, so it just keeps it bugging you, letting you know, hey, you're getting pretty close to your stop here. All right, same thing for your target. But that's what I'd use the horizontal ray. But you can also use horizontal lines. It's just like if you have these horizontal lines, you know, for your support and resistance areas, the horizontal ray is not going to get mixed up with them. Like this. Came down here, supported, broke back above this weekly area. Your target for me, my target anyway, would be VWAP. You know, bull signal. Whoop. We're above VWAP here, so it wasn't a huge move, but definitely enough to take profit on. Another test of VWAP. Nice one. This. got resisted. Down to VWAP would be your target. My target anyway. You can hold for more if you want, but it's not a good idea. And you see it just chopped around for the rest of the day. But like the bear signal came up here, got resisted by this pre-market high, this weekly high, whichever one you want to say. I would say probably a little bit of both. Bear signal came in, broke below VWAP. Again, send it. Your targets would start to be your lines that you have drawn on your chart. Easy money. And play with the settings of vision every day. I'm gonna try to get Josh to release Scalper 2 for everybody here soon, so everybody has it. I'm on Scalper 1 here, which is I've been using Scalper 1 only on Tesla. It's been very, very good on Tesla. So look at all this resistance up here. Just look at it. Just look at it. Look at all that resistance right there. That's a huge indication. Like, hey, I mean, look at we're on the 5 minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, probably for almost an hour. Yeah, basically an hour. Opens at 9:30, and about 10:30, it finally gave up. That much resistance, and you can't get above it. Like, hold those puts, baby. Hold those puts. Because everybody that's long in that sucker. Look at, I mean, you think about it. This is an hour worth of trying to get through it. Think of how many buyers got in long right there. Think about what happens when they all stop out. It's going to get hurt real bad. So, yeah, this is definitely a good day to be buying some puts. All that resistance. Bear signal as we break through below VWAP. Again, your stop would be above that resistance if it finally got above it. And your target, your next line, VWAP, whatever you want to do. Since we're crossing through VWAP at that bear signal, you know, target would be the next line, the next line, the next line. Does anybody have any questions? Go ahead, chat them out if you guys do. How much time do you spend the night before making your lines? Marking out your lines? Shaq, I mean, I'm only trading Tesla, so not very long, man. Once you have the majority of them on there, you really don't need to do it again for probably at least 2-3 days, unless it's making new highs or new lows.
Okay, cool.
But, I mean, yeah, there's no, you know, it's, what do you know, it's kind of like think ahead and see, like, what do I want to trade tomorrow? You know,
Yeah.
I'm going to want to trade SPY, maybe a little bit of Apple, maybe a little bit of this and that. You know, just go ahead and chart those 3 or 4 things, and it don't take very long at all either. I mean, you guys, a lot of people's like, oh, you do it so fast. Well, you've done it so many times, you know. It's people tell me that all the time. You're not the first one for sure, but it's like you do it so many times, and it becomes this easy, you know, especially with that magnet tool, man. But I tell people all the time, it's like screen time is your best friend. The more time you can sit here, you know, at night, popping these lines, and jump over to the 5 minutes, see how you know it reacts to your lines. And I'm telling you, you wake up one morning and it just freaking clicks.
Yeah, that's it.
Watch, you guys just
People have their certain set of tickers that they follow anyway.
yeah, everybody has a few that they like. Go slap some lines on them and trade them tomorrow, and come back and tell me what you think.
Apple, Tesla.
Apple's I would say, it's the one that I recommend if you're like new to options, new to trading and stuff. Like, I always recommend Apple because it moves.
SPY is another good one.
Yeah, SPY is really good. Like, they move so nice and slow. They respect all their lines. They respect trend lines, and it takes a lot of money to move Apple. So it's not gonna like go against you super hard if it starts to go against you. Like Tesla,
That's
boy.
good to know, 'cause I'm a beginner, so
Yeah.
struggle a bit.
Yeah, I would definitely check Apple for sure.
Cool. Okay.
Like Tesla, I do not recommend trading for a beginner.
Okay.
Because you get into Tesla, it can move against you $100 in an instant. I mean, just boom. And
For Amazon.
Amazon's the same way.
Okay.
It could kill you.
Good to know. Appreciate that.
I'm sure there's some other good ones that people would recommend for beginners. But Apple's the main one that I would recommend.
Okay.
Hey Dylan, one other thing for you real quick.
Yeah.
On the left of your screen where you have the magnet tool selected,
Yeah.
as you're drawing your lines, that the icon right below the magnet tool, if you hit that icon, you can just keep clicking the lines instead of having to go back and click the line again.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, so if you click on that,
Insane.
yep. So then, as you're drawing your line, you just go ahead and drop the lines one behind the other. Makes it a little faster.
Sheesh. Hell yeah. I've been wondering about how to do that.
Yeah, so there
I
you
just
go.
thought that's the way it was. Oh, shit. I'm hitting all the
You
lines.
cut your time in half again.
Yeah, no way.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Hey, I gotta ask, what is this secret sauce indicator you got grayed out up there? Is that a future potential indicator y'all are?
Can't tell you, man. Can't tell you. It's secret.
Yeah.
Let me delete these lines. No, I can show you. We'll go to the most recent day real quick. So, I told you guys to pay attention to like the pre-market high and low and stuff, you know. Well, a lot of times that's like one of the past few days, like high and low for the day. And you see like a lot of those monthly lines and weekly lines came into play at the same area. But what the secret sauce is just it shows. Let me drop it down a couple days. Yeah, it's 2 days. So this shows the last 2 days worth of. Oh, damn it! I'm still in drawing mode. Oops. It showed. Damn it. It shows the last 2 days worth of opens, closes, highs, and lows from the daily chart. If that makes sense.
Yeah, nice.
And you see how much they come into play. Just having those lines.
Yeah.
Let me go to auto here. Kind of scrunches the chart up a little bit, and then I got it to where I have 3 days worth if I want. So it's just another just good deal to have. Like you see all the way back here. Just I mean,
look at that. Yeah.
every one of these lines. I mean, right here, boom, boom, boom. It's just stuff that just always comes into play. You know, there's always people that because a lot of times if you notice when a stock closes, it usually closes on the support somewhere. So after you draw your lines and stuff, like I was showing you guys from the monthly and the weekly and the daily and stuff like that, if you pay attention to where the stocks close, they close on one of your lines. Almost, I would say, over 9 times out of 10. So like I said, the highs, the lows, the opens, and the closes are very important. Here's another. I just see another one of those areas. Like you see where the pre-market high is right here. The pre-market high here, well, it couldn't break that resistance. So what'd it do? It got slapped. You know, like I said, the entry, you might look for, if this box would cooperate, would be if it breaks this, and you see that it got some support there. You can tell by them wicks right there. You see it got some support there at that pre-market low, but eventually it gave up. And so that's where you would look to enter some puts. Same thing over here. You got some pre-market high right here. Well, there's a little bit of pre-market high right there, but it already broke it. So we broke it. You could look to get calls. Came back towards it here. Slap the VWAP on, slap the vision on, do what you gotta do. Make you some money.
And that resistance that you highlighted became the support that posted.
Basically. Let's look at Facebook real quick. I want to see. Thought I had Facebook charted already. Guess not. Oh, I see some lines in there. I got two. Oh, those are just main areas. Okay, I'm just going to slap some lines on here real quick. Yeah. Don't stop.
You lost me already.
Okay, you see? Can you guys see where the price line is right here? 331.80. I just put a yellow line right there. That's where price is right now. See, I just went both sides of the price. I want to have every single, like, not every, like, you don't have to have every single one, but the main important ones. Like, you see a lot of these areas that line up. If you look left on the chart, a lot of these areas hit the same areas to the left over here. So I want to have a line in every single one of those areas. And it looks like a lot. I know. Well, let's go to the 5 minute now. Does it look like a lot now? No. Does it make sense though? Hell yes. Let me get out of drawing mode real quick before I start spamming lines again. Alright, let's turn on vision. We'll see setting it like, it looks like it's like in Scalper 1 too. Yeah, both of them are good. So we'll stick with Scalper 1 since everybody has that. But I mean, does it make sense to you? Can you guys look at this now? And does it make sense why Vision's calling these signals where it's calling them? At least most of them. Like, I see 1, 2, 3, 4 really good trades right here. Because I try to stay away from the open. So, like, I try to not trade for the first 20 minutes of the day. Sometimes I break that rule, but I said try. Routed killer doesn't make sense, man. Money making machine.
So now we're gonna be millionaires in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'd give yourself 3.
Okay.
A month if you're starting with a small account.
I just did too, so it's all right. Facebook honestly looks like a really good trader, man. I like it. Boeing did too. I might have to start messing with those. But you see, like down here, we got some support on our line. Bull signal came in as we crossed through VWAP. Easy money. Bear signal came up here as it got resisted 4 times and rejected for 20 minutes in a row. Broke through VWAP. Easy money. Whoop. Putts. Got some support up here. Broke against above this level. Supported. Came up here. Got above this level. Vision finally called the bull. Came through VWAP. That would have been an easy little money. Resisted here. Tried to support it here. Failed it. failed VWAP, easy money on puts. Supporting here again, bull, easy money. You just got to understand why it's calling them where it's calling them. Like I said, it's not going to be 100% every single time, and ignore what it tells you in pre-market and after hours, because it's just so choppy in pre-market and after hours. Ugh. Momentum bull, that's pretty rare. Breaking through VWAP, comes back, test this support. Got good support on it. Bull signal across the VWAP, rocket ship. Like I was saying earlier, kind of like a magnetic pull back to the VWAP. Look at all this resistance up here. That's at least an hour of getting rejected. At least. So if you had a stop up here, right there, like I said before, my target typically is always 2 VWAP, like a magnetic pull. You're either going to hit your stop or hit your target. Sheesh.
Have you got from using EMAs?
I do if I'm looking at the daily chart just to see where it's at in relation. Most of the time, just for the 200, like the daily. That's really the only one I ever see. Really, I mean the 50 comes into play sometimes. The 100 comes into play sometimes. The 20, but 20 is more of a day trading EMA for me.
Hey, another question. So, do you normally trade just 9:30 to 4:30, or do you trade in the evenings with VWAP, or?
I don't really have a time. I've been wanting to kind of save, don't touch the morning, because I see a lot of very good, easy to call setups come after lunch. And in the morning, is pretty volatile, so it could go against you pretty good and pretty easy. But in the afternoon, I see a lot more just easy to call setups. So, yeah. The morning, you're going to make the most profit the quickest, I would say. But in the afternoon, you're going to be safer. I'm also wanting to play around with more swing trading too. Does anybody have any more questions? If nobody does, I'm going to cut it off here because we're over 2 hours on the recording and it's going to take forever to upload.
Will you be sharing the link for the recording?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. It would probably take a few hours at least to get it up there, but I'll definitely share it for everybody.
It's been awesome, mate. Appreciate your time.
No problem, man. If you guys have any questions, tag me in the chat somewhere, and I'll try to get to them as soon as possible.
All right, sounds good, man. Appreciate it.
No problem.